Hello, good morning. I'm Robert. I'm going to Practical Nurse Learner, Bow Valley College. My ID card number is 389365. This is the front part of my ID. This is the back part of my ID. My daughter is here to scan the room for me. I'm here this morning to do my lab assessment for donning and doffing. I will start with donning. Before I start with the donning process, I need to get my equipments in place. First of all, I will start with my gown. This is my gown. Secondly, my gloves. These are my gloves. Followed by my surgical face mask. Next, my goggles. These are my goggles. And lastly, my alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Right here. Before I start the donning process, I have to sanitize my hands. I'll be rubbing the alcohol on my hands until it gets dry. I'm rubbing it while it gets dry. Now it is dry, I'm ready to wear my gown. I'm preparing my gown to wear it. Putting on my gown. I have to tie the neck of my gown first, the upper part. I'm done with the upper part. I have to tie the downer part. On one side. I have to make sure my gown is fully covering my body to avoid any transmission of diseases. I will also have to call on a colleague to come and check if the gown is properly fit. The next thing, I have to wear my face mask, holding it from the strings to avoid touching. I make sure the nose is fitting well. After that, I have to wear my goggles. I hold it from the handles to avoid any contamination. After that, I have to wear my gloves. wearing my gloves. After wearing my gloves, I have to fit my gloves on top of my sleeves so that I should not avoid any contamination from my body. In this particular case, my gown is short. It doesn't really fit well, but when I will get into the facility, I will make sure I get a gown that is big so that my sleeve will actually fit into my glove so that there should be no contact with my body. The next, wearing the left side of the glove. My gloves are a bit tight, but when I get to the facility, I have to get a size that is fitting my hands so that it should not be tight. I have to fit my glove too in my sleeve, in my glove, so that I should avoid any body contamination. And in this particular case too, the glove, my gown is short, and when I get to the facility, I will make sure that the gown is big enough so that it will fit in the glove, so that there should be no contamination from my body. I am now set to go and give the care to the patient. Let's go to the patient's room. I have to knock at the door. Good morning, Mr. Robert Clean. This is Robert, practicalness learner, Bow Valley College. I'm here to give you the morning care. Before I start, I have to close the curtain to ensure your privacy. Please, what is your first name? Second name? Perfect. Your date of birth? Perfect. Your Alberta health card number? Perfect. Now that we are done with the morning care, I'll have to check on your rails, putting them down so that you're comfortable. Put down your bed so that you're in a comfortable position. Check the brakes so that your bed should not move, so that the bed is in stable position. After that, I have to do the doffing process. The doffing process is in two stages. The first stage is in the patient's room, and the second stage is out of the patient's room. The first stage is I have to remove my gloves. I have to remove my gloves. I pinch it, take it off, hold it, then send my fingers, avoiding my hand not to touch the gloves. I send my fingers inside, pull it out. I'm good. I drop it in the garbage bin. I hand sanitize my hands, rubbing it until it gets dry, rubbing it until it gets dry. It's also almost dry until it is dry now. I start by taking up the upper part of my gown, taking up the ropes. I finish with the rope of the upper part, the downer part. I make sure I hold the gown from inside. I don't have to touch it. Hold the gown from inside. I fold the gown, fold the gown, fold the gown, put it in the bin. Mr. Robert Clean, I'm going out of your room. Your green button is right there beside your bed. If you need my services, you hit on the green button and I will be right back. I hand sanitize my hands again and I am going out of the patient's room. Now I am on part 2 of the doffing process. I hand sanitize my hands, take out my face mask, holding on the strings, making sure I don't touch it so that I don't contaminate myself. After that, I hand sanitize my hands again, rub it, take out my goggles, where I will put it in a bin that I have to wash it with running water at a pH of 7 and normal soap. After that, I will have to get my new face mask, put it on, get my goggles that I've washed them and dry them, put it on, continue my services with the next patient. Thank you.